Farrokh Bulsara, Freddie Mercury, was born on September 5, 1946, in Zanzibar, a small island off the coast of East Africa. His parents were Parsi, practicing Zoroastrians, and had moved to Zanzibar for his father's job as a cashier. From a young age, Farrokh showed a unique interest in music. At the age of 8, he was sent to a boarding school in India, where he began learning piano. It was there that he started calling himself Freddie, a name that seemed easier for his peers to pronounce. In 1964, his family fled Zanzibar during a violent revolution and settled in England. It was a turbulent time, but Freddie, now a teenager, found solace in music. He joined local bands and developed a fascination with British rock. He attended art school and studied graphic design, but his passion for music never waned. In the chaos of adjusting to a new life, he was already dreaming of something greater. In 1970, he met Brian May and Roger Taylor, members of a struggling band called Smile. Freddie convinced them to let him join, and soon the group transformed into Queen. His vision was grand. He wanted the band to stand out, and his flamboyant stage presence quickly became their signature. His voice, spanning nearly 4 octaves, was something the world hadn't heard before. The band's rise wasn't immediate. They played small gigs, recorded demos, and faced rejection. But Freddie's determination pushed them forward. In 1973, Queen released their self-titled debut album. It didn't make much impact, but Freddie didn't lose hope. He believed they had something special, and he was right. By 1975, Queen released A Night at the Opera. It was an ambitious album, blending rock with opera and theatrical elements. The centerpiece was Bohemian Rapsody, a 6-minute epic written by Freddie. The song was unlike anything on the radio, and it divided critics. But the public loved it. The song topped charts and became a cultural phenomenon. Freddie had turned Queen into a band that dared to break all the rules. As Queen grew in fame, so did Freddie's persona. On stage, he was electric, commanding crowds of thousands with ease. Off stage, he was more reserved, a private person who let his music speak for him. Despite his confidence as a performer, Freddie often struggled with his identity. He hid his sexuality from the public for years, fearing backlash in a time when acceptance was far from widespread. Queen continued to dominate the music scene through the late 70s and 80s. Hits like We Are the Champions, Somebody to Love, and Another One Bites the Dust solidified their place as one of the greatest bands in history. Freddie's ability to connect with audiences was unparalleled. Every performance felt personal, like he was singing directly to each person in the crowd. Then came Live Aid in 1985. The world watched as Queen delivered a 20-minute set that would go down as one of the greatest live performances of all time. Freddie was at the peak of his powers, captivating a crowd of 72,000 at Wembley Stadium and millions more watching on TV. It was a moment that cemented his legacy. But behind the scenes, Freddie's life took a darker turn. In 1987, he was diagnosed with AIDS. At the time, the disease was a death sentence, surrounded by fear and stigma. Freddie kept his diagnosis private, sharing it only with those closest to him. Even as his health deteriorated, he continued to record music, determined to leave behind a lasting legacy. In 1991, Queen released Inneundo, an album filled with hints of Freddie's struggles. Songs like The Show Must Go On were a testament to his resilience. On November 24, 1991, Freddie Mercury passed away at the age of 45, just one day after publicly announcing his illness. The world mourned the loss of a man who had redefined music and performance. Freddie's voice, his artistry, and his ability to transcend boundaries made him a legend. Decades after his death, his influence remains as powerful as ever. He wasn't just the voice that shook the world. He was a force of nature, uniting people through music and proving that true greatness lies in daring to be different.